Hello, welcome to the Obsessed Movie Man's podcast, or whatever this podcast is called. I've forgotten at this point. I am your host, the Obsessed Movie Man, and if you haven't followed me from TikTok, you'll know me as Riddle Me This 93. So we're back at it again, the same group from the Council of Nygmas, Enigma, aka Arcane Warehouse. I hope I got that right. Actually, Colin, give me a second. Sorry.
You're good, Jack. You're totally good. That's fine. That's totally fine. I have many names.
Okay. I We're gonna keep going. We're gonna let that blooper in there. Billy, do you want to shout out yourself? Correct me if I'm wrong. I can't remember any names.
You're good, Jack. Don't worry. Hello, everyone. This is Billy. You can call me the Warehouse Arcanum or Edward Nigma, as I too cosplay the Riddler, including the Frank Gorshin one.
There it is. Um,
Yay!
and we have with us, if you want to promote your YouTube and your TikTok handle, Sphinx.
Oh, yes. Hi, my name's Sphinx. I'm Cosmic Hitchhiker on TikTok, Instagram, pretty much anything I can grab it on. So there it
Trademark.
is.
It is trademark. It
No, because League of Legends stole it from me, and I'll stand by that.
is.
I
Oh,
was first.
oh dear. They actually use the Cosmic Hitchhiker name. I'm not familiar with League. Is League of Legends Arcane?
I honestly don't know. I know nothing about it. I just got a picture one day of a skin they were selling. They still sell it. That's called Cosmic Hitchhiker. And it's like just something you can buy in the game. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
Uh, Sphinx, how dare you not go into the future to realize that that name would be used?
You know, it's so bad too. Like, not to go on a tangent and derail. I was actually looking into trademarking it, and then I was just like, nah, why would I need to do that?
To quote Loki, surprise.
But speaking of Loki, which translates to Marvel Comics, which translates to comics, which is then going to translate to DC Comics, we're going to do this thing that we sort of did on TikTok, where we cover every Batman movie, live action ones. Maybe we'll get to the animated movies at some point, but I think we're gonna just stick with the live action one. Occasionally we'll have different guests on. So maybe we'll have all the guests. We're just figuring this out because who knows what's gonna happen with TikTok. Today we're covering one of many of Sphinx's favorite topics, the Batman 66 show, aka Batman the movie.
The best Batman.
So I think first I'm gonna give it to Billy, and I'll ask, but then I'm gonna let Sphinx go off. Um, Billy, how were you introduced to Batman 66, the show? Let's just start with the show.
I actually don't remember how I found out about it, other than it happened to be on one of the channels on TV back before the streaming days. And I found out a lot. Like for the longest time, I never knew where the theme song "Na Na 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 Na" Batman came from. And anytime someone made the joke, even when I was a kid, it's like, why do you associate that with Batman? I don't know why. And then when I first heard the theme song, watching the '66 show, I was like, oh, okay.
It
I really did enjoy the show. Like Adam West was just top notch as a very mild mannered and lawful Batman. It did suit the time, but it was still such a fun, zany show. And of course, when I saw Frank Gorshin as the Riddler, I thought, sorry, Jim Carrey, I love you, but this guy nailed it.
Yeah, and it's just a shameless plug-in. We've done a whole episode on the various iterations of the Riddler. I'll leave a link for that below, so go check that out if you're done when you're done with this video. Um, Billy, is there anything else you want to add to the 66 show? Like anything at all?
Well, aside from it being usually referenced, particularly Adam West in his various like cameos from Scooby Doo to other things, sort of satirizing his life as Batman and then the fall, but then return to grace and prominence of popularity. Um, I would say the '66 Batman set it as the staple for and brought it into the limelight the character himself and his rogue gallery, particularly the four main ones: Catwoman, Batman's biggest arch rival, the Joker, the Penguin, and the Riddler. Because of those four, they were really made to be the most popular villains. But I did like, and this also relates to Gotham too, how they brought some underdog or unknown villains in there that also rose to more popularity, like Mad Hatter.
Mhm.
And Mr. Freeze, of course. They did him very much better than the movie did.
Yeah, I will say,
Which is saying a lot, because the Batman and Robin is supposed to be dark and gothicy, but it's over the top, and yet the Mr. Freeze in the 66 show has far more dignity and is refined than what we
we'll,
got from Schumacher.
we'll have to. That's going to be a discussion for another time when we cover Batman and Robin, and that one I will have to rewatch just to remember a lot of it. But I remember a bit about Batman 66. I'm keeping things restrained right now because I want to quickly just go over my thing, and then I'm just going to let her loose. Um,
Yes, we have a big fangirl here of the 66 show, everybody, but it's
yeah,
really
but
I'm
awesome.
like holding it in.
I'm going
I'm
to
holding it in.
tell you just a while longer. Quickly say my dad and mom grew up on the show. I think I discovered it through TV Land. Because I liked watching a lot of old shows. And then I have the box set right next to me, thinking I'm gonna have this on display during the podcast, not remembering, oh, I don't put the videos that we have on display. I just put a still image. So it's just sitting there right next to me, Burt Ward and Adam West judging me. Um, but I think the villains are what made the show, really. Adam West and Burt Ward were great. I think it was always fun to see who's going to pop up at the window when they're climbing the wall. I think Lurch was there at one point. Um, I love seeing it was always like kind of like you always want to have a celeb. Everyone wanted to be the villain from the Batman movies. For the Batman 60 show, everyone wanted to be the guest villain, like Cesar Romero, Frank Gorshin, and all the rest. But it was fun, and I really enjoyed the movie. Okay, thanks. Tell us about your low key obsession with Batman 66 and how you stumbled upon it.
And here
So,
go.
so I stumbled upon it by complete like accident. I was playing the Batman Arkham City and I was gliding around the city and everything. And I was in the living room and my dad was there and I started singing the theme song as I was gliding, just being stupid. And my dad looks me dead in my face and goes, "You know what that is? You know what that's from?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course." That night I bought the entire show and just watched them out of pure, like, I'm going to not let him know the truth. And I fell in love with it. And I just like it really set off a spiral for who I've become and everything. The guest villains are absolutely amazing. Like Egghead being Vincent Price is iconic. Like you can't get that anywhere else.
Oh,
The Oh my gosh, Batman's whole thing where like the episode where Riddler kidnaps Robin, but he doesn't drive the Batmobile to go save him because he drank milk at a bar and that's inappropriate driving. So the officer takes his keys away. Like it's just so incredible. Like the writing's amazing. That type of comedy just I think I am honestly because I found it so long ago. And yeah, I absolutely adore it. You can't get that anywhere else, especially now. And if they try, I feel like they can't really like get it, you know?
Yeah, the show, like Billy said, put Batman in the limelight. Like I know there were two other serials before this that I will fully admit I have not seen, where Batman's fighting. I'll just say it nicely, stereotypes villains.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, I forgot about that.
so we're not gonna really go over those. I know, but
Mm-mm.
we'll just say for the sake of argument, Adam West is like the third live action Batman, but he's the earliest known to the general public. So this really did push Batman in the spotlight, and it affected the comics too, where they would create femme fatale villains. Like Poison Ivy was a direct result of this show. Batgirl was a full result of this show. Um, and I like the Vincent Price. I completely forgot he was Egghead. I have a Lego Egghead egg mech. from the Lego Batman movie. I'm just staring at it right now. It's excellent. Pardon the
I
pun.
love that.
Uh,
But,
and that made me love this series even more because I grew up with Vincent Price, and being a big horror fan, I love his work. So
he was a delight to see in that show. And then you got, like you said, we got a lot of original villains that were not in the comics, like Egghead, Bookworm. Why am I blanking on
King Tut.
King Tut? Thank you.
He's my favorite from the show.
I
Absolute favorite, outside of Riddler, of course.
King Tut kind of reminded me of Maxie Zeus from the animated series, where he's like a
Oh
guy
yeah.
who thinks he's something from mythology or from a different period of time. It kind of reminded me of that. That's Maxie Zeus. I wonder if anyone remembers that villain. But
Only because of the riddle in Arkham City. That's the only reason.
but I
remember, folks, for those who want to play trivia night with Batman, just revisit the Arkham games and play Riddler's challenges.
yeah, you get a lot of trivia with those games, and I think on I thought I had silences. Sorry, I could have sworn that on either Arkham City or Night, there's a skin where you can play as the Adam West Batman. Is that true?
Yes, it is. It's my favorite.
Oh, I need to
Just
try that one.
seeing Adam
And
West just go kung fu punching with all the villains and thugs, it's so funny.
that I will stand by the fact that I think they missed an opportunity with including in with that skin the sound effects that pop up when you fight.
Do
I feel like that wouldn't have been hard to code.
so the PAL
Yeah.
number doesn't show up.
No,
Uh,
it doesn't. At
I
least
will.
no, it doesn't.
I will also admit, because you got, I think you said that you liked Frank Gorshin in the suit. I will fully admit that my favorite Catwoman is oh my gosh,
Julie
sorry.
Newmar?
Oh, thank you. Julie Newmar is my favorite Catwoman. I when I saw her at a young age, I was like, beautiful. I love that Catwoman.
So do
And
I.
just a simple design, but it works perfect. No pun intended. Perfectly for the top.
Hmm.
Um, and
So you could definitely say that that was your supervillain crush, eh?
that was at the time, that was my superhero villain, whatever crush. I mean, it's now
That's good. We all have one, Jack. We all have one.
it all is moved on to purely realistic things like Shigo from Kim Possible. No, I'm kidding. Um,
Respect.
all right.
Yeah, yeah,
So
that's
with
where it started.
this show was pretty successful. I think it ran for what was it, 3, 4 seasons? I'm checking right now. Yes, 3 seasons.
3.
Hey, she knows it. I had to look. She knew it off the top of her head. Um, but it got a movie, and with
Mhm.
Billy said they used the four more popular villains. But okay, so Catwoman had three actresses on the show.
Technically 4.
Four.
So Julie Newmar, the other two, and then the Catwoman in the movie.
Okay, so I know Julie Newmar. I know Eartha Kitt. I know
Yes.
Merriweather. Do you know who the fourth one is?
Lee Merriweather. Oh, was she in the
She was the
TV
movie.
show?
Lee Merriweather was the movie.
Yeah.
Julie Newmar
I
was.
don't know who. Oh gosh.
Oh, did I outsmart you on this one?
I think so. I'm so bad with names. I just remember Julie Newmar because she's still one of my crushes. I don't know.
I think there was only three. I might be wrong, but I think I might have got stumped you on this one.
Because I know there was 3 Catwomans for sure, in the TV show.
Lee
And I
Merriweather.
know like in between Newmar and Aretha Kitt, there was another one, I think. But I can't remember if it was Lee Merriweather and then she just reprised the role in the movie, or if it was somebody else and Lee Merriweather was only in the movie.
If there's someone who's watching this podcast, which maybe there's one or two, leave it in the comments and answer this question for us. Who is the missing Catwoman?
Oh,
Um,
what a good not that would be a great comic title.
who is the missing Catwoman?
Yeah.
But yeah, they made a movie and it's just as ridiculous as you'd expect it to be. Now Sphinx and Billy did their homework and watched the movie. I played my school method and tried to rely on memory, but wasn't it like the villains want to get the United Nations members and like turn them into, help me out here. Like,
Yes,
So,
essentially kidnapped the United. They kidnapped a scientist who had a really
mhm.
special device, and they kidnapped the United Nations people by leaders by turning them into these dust particles, and then hold them for ransom and such.
makes sense. Makes logical.
And Batman tries to stop them with Robin.
Right, okay. I remember the scientist's name now. Commodore Schmidlap. I believe that was his name, right? He was the
I
guy,
think you're right.
like they put him on the fake boat and he's just in his room not questioning anything and they're just making him believe he's on the fake boat.
And he keeps ringing, and Joker comes in with the tray,
Like, my
full
God,
makeup and everything.
God, man, you're ghastly pale or something like that. Now,
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
he's like,
sorry, sir. My duties keep me mostly undercover, sir.
my
that's
God.
crazy accurate.
So he doesn't recognize one of the most notorious villains, let's just say, in the world. Uh,
Honestly.
but that's fine. I love the hideout of the villains, like the villains' lair. Like you see stuff where penguin food, riddles, joke books.
And it's so funny too, because each shelf has a private tag on it. Like I could just picture each villain being like, "Don't look at my stuff," and it's like we all agree here that this is private. Do we need 14 signs showing it?
It's like
Yeah,
property.
the sets are just the best ever. I love just watching the background to see all of the things. Like it's amazing.
Uh,
Oh yeah, the attention to detail is really nice, and the full scale too. They bring in the Batcopter as well.
they brought in the Batcopter, I believe the Bat boat because because they're trapped on the buoy and torpedoes coming towards them. If I remember correctly, off screen, a dolphin or porpoise or something jumped in the way and took the missile for them, and Batman and Robin escaped. Is that correct?
Yes.
That is correct.
It's like Robin's like, "Gee, Batman, it sure good of that porpoise to save us." Like, it gave its life for a noble cause, Robin, or something like that.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like the most convenient things happen in this movie for Batman and Robin to avoid death. Like, I think the Batcopter falls out of the sky and they land in like a pillow fort that's outside or
A
something.
pillow factory.
Oh, that makes it even better. And
Yeah.
so, and Billy, do you want to
But
go?
that
Oh, sorry. Go ahead,
that
sir.
was after that's after Batman, because Robin flew the Batcopter down too low, so he ended up in the ocean. And when he came back out, there was a shark on him, so he had to use the bat spray repellent.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Forgot
Let's
about
talk about the shark repellent spray that everyone is.
You can't forget about the shark repellent.
That's, I believe, what happened was they're going to find Commodore Schmidlap on a boat, but the boat's a hologram, so Batman misses his target and falls into the water. When he comes out, this rubber shark, which is a real,
Close.
it's supposed to be a real shark, but it's a rubber shark. Is latched on to
Mhm.
him, and Batman's just punching this thing, and Robin's just being useless. No, Robin's not. I'm talking too much. Does someone else want to cover this?
So it's very close. He didn't fall into the water. Robin lowered the Batcopter onto the boat, and that's how they found out it was a hologram because it disappeared. And when Batman's like, "Wait, Robin, no, like pull me up," that's when Robin like lifts the helicopter, and there's the shark like attached to. It almost looks like he's like biting Batman's leg, but he's like biting the ladder, I guess. It didn't translate very well, but like
Jaws,
iconic nonetheless.
Jaws, eat your heart out.
it.
But
And then the following scene was how they deduced the criminals were working together.
oh,
Status
before,
report.
Oh my
before we go into that, I just want to add, why would the sea repellent stuff be on the copter and not on the boat? Like there's shark repellent and there's like other stuff that's sea. I don't know. It's just,
The bat utility belt has a lot of pockets.
oh my God. Okay. Like we do see they have a press conference and we meet Miss Kitka. Get it? Kitten. Who's like Lee
Oh my God, I never got that.
Yeah, I think that's what they're going for. Like Lee
Yeah.
Mary's alter ego, because there's no Selena. The
Huh.
villains don't go by their alter egos. I don't think once in the show. I don't think they ever say maybe there's one episode where they say Edward Nygma. Does anyone know?
I feel like oh,
I don't think they do. I don't think they
I
ever use,
don't think so either.
but
That's crazy.
what Billy was saying, because you think like Edward Nygma would be such a character name for the show. But anyway, Billy, do you want to go over how they deduce the list are behind?
Oh, absolutely. First, it starts off with the status report revealing Joker, Catwoman, Penguin, and Riddler are all at large. And then the Chief O'Hara, Commissioner Gordon, and the dynamic duo deduce how did they deduce it? We're out at sea. Sea for Catwoman. A shark was pulling my leg. It all just adds up
That's
to a sinister riddle. Oh.
How did they deduce Penguin? Do we remember? Uh,
Boat.
it was
the
something,
water.
something,
Yeah.
something sea related. No one cares. No one cares about you, Penguin.
Mhm.
But it was so ridiculous the leaps in logic both the show and the movie bring, and that's what.
Not,
Sorry, go ahead.
oh no, I'm so sorry. Like, not to jump ahead too much, but I do want to make a special shout out to the moment when Batman calls. I don't even couldn't begin to tell you who he calls, but they're the ones who sold Penguin the submarine. And so Batman is like disappointed in him and he like scolds him over the phone and everything. And it
Yes.
just like leaps back, but the name that Penguin gave was like P.E. Gwyn or something like
He
that.
and Gwen.
Yes. And he was just like I cannot believe you would sell us a nuclear sub to someone who wouldn't even put down their full address. Like, yeah, Batman, that's the real issue here.
And then the guy hangs up. He's like, "Gosh, if I remember correctly, he just says so."
Yeah.
He takes it so hard.
The submarine is just a giant penguin submarine, which I love so much.
Oh yeah.
It was so good.
I think there's a moment that I love. I think the moment I love the most is when they want how the villains figure out their plan to get Batman, and it involves kidnapping Bruce Wayne. Billy, you would like this one. Talk about this probably. It was like when Frank, because this is probably Frank Ocean's best part of the movie, coming up with the brilliant plan, like throwing Joker's Jack in the boxes with that scene.
Oh man, I remember that scene line for line from Riddler.
Can, like I love how he comes up with the plan. Like he takes off his jacket, and you see that amazing vest of his,
I want
and
that vest.
he's talking about how to incorporate all like Joe spring Batman on the Joker's jacket box with the waiting arms of penguins explode.
Exploding octopus.
Like how he delivers his lines like this. Like it's just Gorshin knows how to speak. Like in another life, he actually I think he was a voice actor. He was on the Batman, but how
Yes, and he was also quite the impressionist too, which is funny because both he and Jim Carrey are impressionists, and they both played the Riddler.
I'm sure Sphinx loves that comparison.
Right.
But
Oh, I see the salt sprinkling.
again, if you don't realize what we're talking about, go to our Batman, our Riddler podcast, whatever.
I know, Sphinx, you can't sanction this buffoonery.
That's me and
That's fine.
Sphinx.
But yeah, I agree with you, Jack. The way all the villains are bickering, but you see Riddler is like dead silent, and then his eyes just go wide. He lights up the biggest grin on his face,
I love
and then just goes into the whole spiel of just piece by piece. Like he first removes his jacket, and then goes one step, then walks over to his riddle cabinet, and then makes another step in the plan. It's just it's like he's visually illustrating how his thought process is working, step by step by step.
And I love this line. I know the perfect victim. I know the perfect. I like how they use Bruce Wayne, and I just find it funny that Bruce Wayne's the victim, obviously. But
Obviously,
Of
yeah.
course.
they do set up a romance because it's kind of setting up the Batman. That's always been around in the comics, the little flirtatious kind of stuff. But you would think Batman. Actually, I'm not gonna. I don't care. I was gonna say you'd think he'd recognize her with that, even without her mask, because it's not a big revealing mask. But this is a Batman show, whatever.
Mm.
But I think it's funny when they're on their date, and what she's saying something to him in his ear, or she's kissing him. But Batman and Alfred are watching the date, and Robin turns off the TV. He's like,
Oh yeah.
it doesn't feel right to do this. Like he says something along those lines.
And then Jim Gordon calls him and he's like, any status reports? Like, they're still going around in the park. Really? It's been hours. What are they doing? You don't want to know.
And
then they turn back the camera back on. And it's completely empty.
Robin's
Their
like,
face.
Robin's like, I think I'll take one tiny peek. I think that's what he says. But I
Oh,
love.
that's when they're back in the apartment
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
like she's
because Catwoman makes this whole thing that's so funny to me where she's like, let me go slip into something more comfortable while your hot cocoa's heating. Okay. We're
and
fully grown
Joker,
adults.
Riddler, and Penguin show up by going on a zip line with umbrellas.
that is the
Yeah, the flying umbrellas.
that is the funniest thing.
Oh
to
yeah, it was the flying umbrella.
I-
That was in the show, I think. The zip line umbrellas,
Joker-
the flying
I think it was
umbrellas.
both. They
Joker.
flew to a rooftop and zip lined across.
No,
I
like,
think.
they're on the umbrellas, and Joker's laughing, and Riddler are laughing, and Penguin's just wah, wah, wah. That
Penguin's acting like he's riding a horse. Just I'm so high and mighty.
and I love that. I think in that scene, Penguin and Joker have criminal masks on. I'm like, what are they hiding? You know who they are. Well, people know who you are. Like Riddler, I get that's part of his costume, but still, anyway.
Yeah.
I also what else do I love about this movie? I love when Penguin pretends to be Commodore Schmidt, but before he does that, he disintegrates the guinea pigs, as they're called, his henchmen, and they're just
Oh yeah.
with losing their atoms or whatever, or just being disintegrated. They're completely okay with that. They're just
And
standing
then they come back
and,
in the Batcave.
and then with one punch, they just disaparate. And Robin's like, "Where are they?" He's like, "They're in a place where they'll never return, Robin." Penguin's just I love they're not dumb enough to fall for Penguin's disguise, but Penguin's still going in. The leaps in logic of this movie is what I don't think we can even do it justice. How pun intended, batshit insane this movie is.
The when some days you can't get rid of a I don't know if you can say that word
Yeah.
on YouTube anymore.
We
But
can.
you know what I'm going with.
Let's
Can you?
talk about that. Billy, do you want to take this?
Take what?
The bomb moment where he's just trying to get rid of the bomb. I can't believe
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
Mhm.
Let's do the setup for those of you unfortunate souls who have not seen this movie. Batman finds a bomb in the villain's lair, which is in a bar full of people, and he's trying desperately to get rid of this bomb. But everywhere he goes, there's like a marching band that's just continuously going. It's a marching band of 3 people. There's nuns. There's a person with a baby carriage. There's people in a boat, and then there's ducks. And
The ducks are my favorite.
and that's when he just says the infamous line, "Some days you just can't get rid," which has become a meme of itself now.
Actually, I should mention this. What I have a picture of it as proof. When I went to one of the con here in my city one of the years, somebody dressed up as Adam West, and they had a fake big bomb that they were holding up.
I love it when people do. I've never seen
That's
that in
amazing.
person, but I've seen pictures of people do that at cons, and that's the funniest thing. That's the funniest thing next to like a couple cosplaying as Thomas and Martha Wayne, or someone dressing as Uncle Ben and then dropping in front of the superheroes.
I love niche cosplays like that. Like it's just so fun.
Like when someone cosplays as Gwen Stacy and drops in front of Spider-Man.
Rough.
Too soon.
Oh snap!
Oh snap!
Literally.
But is there anything? Oh, I guess we should talk about the ending. So they go into the United Nations building where people are arguing. Wow, what a surprise! And they atomize them, but they don't. The people who are arguing with each other, the United Nations leaders, they just don't notice the villains come in. And then when they're starting to get atomized one by one, no one notices that they're just disappearing. It's like you have all the stereotypical people. Um, this movie can't may be seen as not politically correct at times, I guess.
Oh no.
But
It was a different
it was
time.
a different time. Like
Yeah.
of the over the top British man. Gentlemen, this is our best stage. Or they're just all rambling and rumbling. But should we when they I know this we're jumping all over the place, but when Batman Robin tried to quote unquote save the day and restore them, you see that they're all mixed up. So like the British guy is talking if he's from a different
Oh
country.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
Batman Robin
yes, because the inventor Schmidt lab came in out of nowhere on the submarine after the heroes subdued the supervillains, and he knocks over the vials of the dusted United Nations guys, mixing them all together.
it's yeah, and he sneezes on them too. So they're booger people now. No, I'm kidding.
Rose.
Sorry, I had to. But I love this movie, even though Batman and Robin kind of ruined the day. They don't save the day. They ruin the United Nations leaders, and then they quietly exit out the building. And that's what the
I
movie.
love that.
Um, I guess the legacy of this film is they had the movie. Did the movie come out before season three? Because Batgirl is no. You might know this, Sphinx.
So that is so funny. My dad and I were legitimately just trying to figure this out. So the movie came out in 66. So that leads me to believe that it came out with the first season, but that doesn't fully make sense to me because there's like a lot of hints that it came out. I thought it came out after the show ended by like a year or so, but that's wrong. So I have no idea.
My theory then is that it came out maybe between season two and three. Because if it
Mm,
came out in season after season three, I feel like they would have added Batgirl to it. Because didn't she come out in season?
yeah.
I
Yeah, she did.
okay, because I think that explains why Batgirl's not there. She probably I don't know. Billy, do you have any theories on this?
No, I think you might be right because even though she was a reoccurring character now and then, but would randomly show up, but she did get popular and more frequent throughout the series. So I think it's because this movie had that maybe it was a scheduling conflict or it's just the timing. I think that's why she didn't show up.
I know the scheduling conflict was why Julie Newmar didn't show up. At
Mm-hmm.
least,
Yeah, she was in another movie.
yeah. I
Yeah, so I think
Oh,
that's probably why Batgirl never showed up, which is a shame because so yeah.
is that your celebrity? Is that your Bat crush, Billy? Or Yvonne Craig as Batgirl?
I can neither confirm nor deny that.
wait, is that the missing Catwoman?
That is no, that's the Barbara Gordon in that Yvonne Craig.
Oh, okay. I was like, did you just randomly drop the missing Catwoman? We're not going to celebrate?
No, no time for celebration.
Interesting.
But Yvonne
I should
Craig,
have known that.
the
Oops.
one you cosplay as.
I know. I know. And people say her name in my comments all the time. Maybe I just pictured it sounding different.
um, but there were years and decades, I should say, later. There were kind of sequels, the animated ones.
Mhm.
So good.
I'm
I
not
love
sure
them.
we. I'm not sure if they're worth really talking about because we're mostly sticking with live action. But I'll concur with what Sphinx says. They're good. We got Adam West, Burt Ward, and Julie Newmar back, and I know they were going to do a third one, but then Adam West sadly passed away,
Mm.
Yeah.
so we didn't get that third one. But it was cool to see. The second one had Two Face, and it was cool because I know for a fact, me being the Two Face guy, that Two Face was supposed to be on the show apparently, but they deemed he was too scary. And the rumors I heard, I don't know if they are true or not, but people said Clint Eastwood was supposed to play Two Face on the show.
No, I get it now. That would have been terrifying.
Yes, because Clint Eastwood as Two Face, especially with his roles as the man with no name, it's like, yeah, I can see why.
There is a comic that adapted it's called The Lost Episode. There's a comic adaptation of the script, so
Hmm.
we're Two Face episode. It's pretty cool. To see what could have been. It's very different than the origin we got in the Batman versus Two Face movie, but Overall, I think Batman 66 is a great way to start because it is the introduction of Batman to the popular culture.
Mm.
It's very accurate to the comics as well. So if you like 66, you will probably find a comic that you like.
Yeah,
Yep.
the 60s were a good era for Batman. I mean, not like today's standards, but they were fun. They were a
Mm.
fun comic where Batman and a little boy that he forces to
Mhm.
be a sidekick. I'm so um I'm not a Robin hater. I like Robin. I just think he's so
Robin sucks.
yeah, that okay. It's I understood that reference. I think
Thank you. I didn't
Robin
want people to think I actually hated him.
Robin is so funny in this show that I think he's devolved into a meme himself too. Like the whole every time he says something, it's a holy this, holy that, holy cow, Batman. I what's oh my favorite one I think is in this movie is holy Polaris. Oh, that leads me to Billy. Riddler is so unhinged, even Joker is scared of him in this show. Like, there's a moment where he's telling Riddler, "Don't leave a riddle for Batman," and he's like, I must. My outsmarting Batman is my thrill, my heaven on earth, my very paradise." Like Riddler is I think canonically in this series more insane than Joker. Would you guys concur? Am I wrong on this? If Joker is
No,
I
I
mean,
agree.
I agree, but he's also more of a threat than Joker because the amount of times Joker is just essentially in the 66, he's a prankster, but Riddler has come closer than anyone to defeating Batman on numerous occasions.
yeah,
The
I
lawsuit's my favorite.
that's my favorite episode.
Oh, yeah, I love that one. Oh, what is it no man wants to have, but no man wants to lose?
A lawsuit.
Correct, boy wonder.
I love when they put what's her name, Riddler's henchwoman. I know she has a name, but whatever.
Molly.
Molly. Molly.
Yep.
Well, there's
Okay.
multiple. It's different
Okay.
each episode.
Like
There were multiple henchmen.
like Molly is in the Robin costume and she puts on a generic mask, but when they cut back, it's like to Riddler, and then they cut back to her. It's just Britt Ward acting feminine.
Yeah, that scene made me think. It's just like I don't know how I feel about this scene.
And then she falls into like the vat of atomic waste, or what was it? Of
It's like a power core or something. It's like a nuclear power core that Batman has to power the Batcave, I think.
course it is. I know that the henchwomen on these shows are partially the inspiration, one of the inspirations for Harley Quinn, because the idea of having Joker having a henchwoman sidekick was like a tribute to the 60s, always have the characters having henchwoman sidekicks.
Mm.
But I also love that that we got three Mr. Freezes in the show too. I know we're just going off on the show itself now, not the movie, but I think this Sphinx will be okay with that, and Billy will be okay with that, I guess.
Oh, absolutely.
I love that Mr. Freeze didn't. He doesn't keep in mind to people watching and who didn't know this. Mr. Freeze didn't have his origin yet, so he was still just a generic bad guy at this time.
There's a one episode that's literally just the plot is him kidnapping a woman to make him the Nora
Oh yeah,
before there was a Nora.
I
She was like a
remember.
German supermodel or something.
And he keeps saying "wild" or something like that.
Something. He was like trying to acclimate her to his extreme temperatures too.
I remember they had.
Meanwhile, she's like in a bathing suit or something,
Well, it's the '60s. You gotta have that exploitation. No, I'm kidding.
obviously. I mean,
Um,
it was cute. She looked good.
they had they had Barbara like in the comics, Barbara Gordon fought Killer Moth. Killer Moth of all people showed up on this show. That
That's
was
one of the things I really enjoyed about the Adam West series. They brought in, like, yeah, they focused on the core villains, Riddler, Joker, Penguin, and Catwoman. But during the time that they weren't on screen, they had different characters that were in canon, but they brought them into the limelight. Like, yeah, Batman has a roster of villains, some of them ridiculous, some of them kind of dangerous, but here they all are. And actually, fun fact for both of you, Gorshin was supposed to be in the show a lot more often, but due to scheduling conflicts they had and some difficulty writing Riddler, they made different versions of that, like Clue Master, Puzzle Master, and all that.
Right. And
Those guys that came in were actually supposed to be Riddler episodes.
oh,
Isn't
really?
it isn't it so funny how scheduling conflicts in the 60s turned into like a super long beef between Riddler and Clue Master in comics?
It's kind of like it's similar to how the Joker and Riddler always are at war with each other too. But
Mm.
I know the only thing I know about Clue Master is that he's the father of Stephanie Brown. That's literally the only thing I know about him.
Is he British?
I don't know that. I just know that Clue Master is Stephanie Brown's father.
Mm.
Who is in turn spoiler the fourth Robin and Batgirl. Um,
Huh.
Hmm.
Also, fact on my end, the Mad Hatter that shows up in the Batman 66 show is not Jervis Tetch. There was a period of time when there was a second quote unquote fake Mad Hatter running about, a guy who was obsessed with hats and had a mustache and whatever. And the event before they revealed that that was a fake Mad Hatter, comics were running with this as the regular Mad Hatter. So
Mm.
it'll be a
Hmm.
fun trivia for you Mad Hatter fans out there.
I like it.
Indeed. Fun fact also for you: if any of you have either of you have played the Lego Batman video game,
Yes.
they
The first,
take a lot of the character designs and actions of the villains from the 66 show. You look at the Riddler,
Hmm.
it's the Gorshin version with some John Aston, because his cane can mind control, and that's where the Riddler cane came in, was when John Aston substituted it as Riddler. You have the classic Penguin, the purple suit vest and all that with the top hat. You have the very bright colored suit, which is Joker from Cesar Romero's version.
Mhm.
And you have Killer Moth. You have the Mad Hatter that his hat mind controls people, like in the 66 show.
It's
Hmm.
I would love. I know Lego has made multiple Batman 66 sets. I would love it just a Batman 66 game.
Mm,
Oh
You
yeah.
you could do
yes.
different episodes, get all the characters. That would be fun. I'm not sure if we've how long have we been going? I'm not sure if there's a way to find out or not, but actually there's another thing I could talk about. We could talk about. What was your guys' favorite vehicles on the show? Was it the Batmobile or was it something else? Because as
Mm.
much as I love the Batmobile and it is my favorite iteration of the Batmobile, I always get a kick out of the little motorcycle and Burt Ward's Robin just sitting in the little side carrier.
I
Do you guys
love that.
you guys have a favorite vehicle?
Not to sound so basic, but just that classic Batmobile. I love the red trim on it and everything, the logo. It just, I don't know. I just feel like I like how much character it has.
It's very iconic, and it is my favorite Batmobile personally. Billy, do you have
Mhm.
a favorite vehicle on the show? Is it also the Batmobile?
I do have a favorite vehicle, and it's probably going to surprise all of you, but
Oh,
it's not the Batmobile.
oh, what is it?
The Joker Mobile.
I had a feeling he was going to say it, but I wasn't confident in saying it live because Bill notoriously doesn't like the Joker. Um, why the Joker mobile? I'm just curious.
Well, to me, it's kind of a parody of it's like a mirror because Joker is the mirror of Batman, morally speaking. So, where Batman's vehicle is sleek, clean cut, dark colors, and very streamlined, the Joker mobile is very bombastic, loud. It has a face on the front of it. It's very look at me, I'm right here. And it doesn't look like it would be that fast as the Batmobile, but it more so is showing off, whereas Batmobiles is more streamlined.
Like I saw at my local Target a while ago, they're selling Joker mobiles from Batman the Animated Series, and I've been tempted to getting it. I just don't have the space for it. But it's funny to see just Joker in a car that's supposed to mock Batman when Joker in and of himself is kind of a mockery of Batman.
Yep.
Um,
I love
but
that.
unless any of you guys have anything that add to the Batman 66 mythos, the movie or the show, we could call it the end of this podcast, but Sphinx, do you have anything you want to add as the aficionado on this Batman?
So I do have a couple of things, but one of them is like running away from me. So I'll start with the first one. I have always appreciated how respectable, or not respectable, how much respect Commissioner Gordon showed Robin in the show. I feel like he always like he's clearly a young child and he still always talked to him with like respect that he gave Batman as well. And I feel like a lot of variations of the Batman mythos is not like that. But even in the 66 movie, when Robin is trying to figure out a way to like just make the villains think it's their like perfect time to go nab Bruce Wayne, and he literally is like, "Oh, go turn on the bat signal and all of this stuff." And he doesn't even question it. He's like, "Okay, yeah, go do that." And it's just, I love how he like respects Robin. What is the second thing? Oh my God, this is gonna bug me.
You want to go to Billy in the meantime?
Yes, please.
Billy, do you have any closing statements or arguments or whatever they say in court on Batman 66?
Hmm.
Both. It could be the show, the movie, both.
Regarding the movie, I say it was a pretty ambitious project for the time, as not to mention, like, it takes a lot of bravery to do a movie on that scale, on that subject, because the superhero genre wasn't as big back then as it is today. Well, it kind of is today.
Want to guess how much their budget was? Here's a little fun fact for you.
I can't
3 million?
So it was $1 million back in the 66, but in today money, quote unquote, it would be the equivalent about $9 to $10 million budget.
Hmm.
Oh, that
Isn't that
I
crazy?
I cannot confirm nor deny if that's enough for this movie. That I know if that's enough for this movie. I think that's perfectly fine for the type of movie that this is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Uh,
lived on for how long now? So it
I
definitely
It's
paid
become
off.
a Batman nerd staple.
I watched
Yeah.
it. I remember the day Adam West passed away, and I thought I want to do something, and I just put on this movie. That's how I celebrated the life of Adam West. It was a real
Hmm.
shame we lost him. I had the pleasure of at least seeing him from a distance. Um, at one point, I didn't get his autograph because I think yet I was new to cons and all how that all worked. Um, but he clearly loved that role. I know it was both a blessing and a curse because they highlighted that in a semi-realistic episode, Beware the Gray Ghost on Batman the Animated Series.
Oh, I love that episode.
It was great, but he clearly did have a passion for the role in later years because he kept returning to Batman related projects.
He absolutely loved that role from my understanding. He would go to schools as Batman and like teach kids and do those like super cute safety PSAs where like look both ways before crossing the street. Like he just cameoed in so much stuff as Batman. It was amazing.
And then we had Burt Ward in, I don't know. I was trying to make a joke, but I couldn't figure it. No, I enjoyed Burt Ward too. I actually did talk to him once. It was a kind of a funny story, but I'll have to tell that to you guys outside of this because it remains another member that I don't want to out him on this story. But it it was he was seemed like a polite gentleman. He actually, I believe, shelters animals like dogs. He's a dog. I think he's a dog rescuer in real life or something like that. I read somewhere.
That's so
So
sweet.
good on him. Good on you, Burt Ward, living your best life. And we still have Julie Newmar, who's still alive today. I did see her too from a distance. But yeah, Sphinx, did you figure out your additional note?
No, but I thought of another one. Just I guess to really bring it back full circle. I very much appreciate the weird little jokes they do, like having the weird little nods and stuff to just safety and just like old school like type stuff with there's a oh my gosh. Can you tell I'm really just trying to like grab it from running away? So there's this moment in the Batman movie when Alfred and Robin are getting ready to leave to follow Bruce Wayne and Catwoman around on their date. And he's just all giddy, excited. He's so like trying to keep it together, but you can tell the man's excited. And he goes, Alfred, you have your driver's license? Good. Okay. And then he goes up the bat pole to get ready and like had to make sure in his excitement that Alfred was able to drive because he has his driver's license in his pocket.
It's one of the rare occasions we see in Batman media where Batman, as Batman, is happy.
Yeah, like I'm almost a little upset like how dark it's gotten considering that this is where it began. It's just like so like it's so dark and serious and like I understand why you got to adapt and as the time goes, but I don't know, I just wish every once in a while they would just put out the most outlandish Batman movie just to like let us fans have it.
Well, you're not gonna get that until we get to the Schumacher era, Sphinx. So
But
sorry.
even then,
uh,
oh, it's all right.
well, I'll ask. Billy, you already said your piece, I think, right?
Yep.
Sphinx,
I don't really have nothing to add without being redundant. So, yeah, if you want to wrap it up, Jack, I'm fine with that.
Sphinx, you good, or do you want to try and keep us trying to stall so you can figure out the last thing you wanted to add?
No, I mean, I could talk about the 66 Batman movie and series for as long for hours and hours, but I won't put you guys through that. So I'll just go ahead. If I think
Challenge
about it, I'll drop it into
accepted.
Discord.
Okay. I was like, challenge
Hmm.
accepted. No.
Are you kidding me?
I'll
Go
take
on
you
and
up on
nerd
that.
out. That's awesome.
Um.
Oh, I will.
Okay. Before she does, we're gonna take Sphinx on that offer, unfortunately, because I think we're going over an hour now.
I think so.
Yeah.
So either we'll have the same group of people for the next podcast, or we'll have additional people for the next podcast where I believe the next one is Batman 89. We'll talk about
Okay.
that. So, Sphinx, Billy, thank you for joining me here. It was a pleasure having you two.
Thank you for having me.
And
Thanks for
if
having me.
And if you guys could, I'll leave the links in the comments below. But if you guys could also shout out where you can be found, by be it TikTok or YouTube or any other case. Billy, do you want to go first? If you want.
Yeah. Yeah, you can find me on TikTok. I think I just changed my name. The Arcana Enigma on TikTok and Calgary's Riddler on Instagram.
I'll put those.
Ooh.
I'll put those in the comment section, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, and no joke. Literally, I'm apparently known throughout the city as Riddler because so many cosplayers know me, and I don't even know them.
That's so fun.
And Sphinx, do you want us to shout out where we can find you?
Yes. So on TikTok, you can find me as underscore cosmic hitchhiker underscore because I used to have it normal and then I got logged out of that account. I'm still sad about that 5 years later. And then on TikTok or Instagram, it's just cosmic hitchhiker.
And,
Cosmic hitchhiker. Sheesh.
and do you have a YouTube or no? Do you guys have YouTube?
I do. Yes. I've started posting some of my TikToks on there just to see.
If you guys
But
want,
I think it's also
okay, I'll see if I can find it. If you want, I can just add that too, also.
okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Thank you, gentleman and lady, for joining me today. It was a pleasure. And I will see you guys all on the next one. So take care. And hopefully, I'll have a review out someday when I'm not procrastinating. All
Mhm.
right. And good night.
Have a good night.
Night.
I'm trying to figure out how to close. Is it end? I think it's end. Oh no, that's end meeting. Hold on. I'm gonna edit all this. Just give me a second. Don't leave yet. I have to figure out how to stop video. No. Um,
Is there like end recording?
I'm trying to find it. I just see end.
Oh, weird.
Oh, recording. There it is. Stop recording.